if an organization which is not criminal and violent and, radical in its intent and its action wanted to defend itself against the raids of a national investigation agency, you would think the last method they would employ is actually bomb attacks and issuing public threats on the streets that we will deal with you, because you're proving that your very mentality and your genesis is violence. Then you're actually proving the agency correct.
Shivani, all this is happening because the state governments unfortunately are not very tough on the activities of the PFI. Had they been tough on the activities of the PFI, they would not have dared to, throwing bombs on the RSS, cadres' houses, homes, or any other offices. I am very surprised to see the stoic silence on part of the left liberal intelligentsia in this country. They are not coming out to condemn this kind of violent activities. I don't know what prevents them. It is the NIA, it is the central agency which has conducted raids. It is based on substantial facts. The substantial facts involved, seizing of the arms and ammunition, inflammatory audios, and most importantly the fund from the dubious sources, and that includes funds from the Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and some other Central Asia countries. The important is find that they have a pan-Islamic linkages. They are the radical outfits which believe and they have a commitment or they have a mission to convert India into an Islamic state.
Islamic state, yes. Apparently they have a vision 2047. I'll come to that in just a bit. But Sangit Ragi, you said that you're surprised by the silence. That is one of the questions that I asked leading up to this debate. If such attacks, for example, 5 to 6 in Tamil Nadu, 2 to 3 in Kerala, were planned consistently as a pattern by an organization or its workers or its sympathizers against one set of people, in this case it's RSS leaders or workers, but if such attacks were planned against one set of people representing an idea, ideology or an organization, you would know what the responses would have been, right? For example, straight church attacks in India have been converted into Christians being under threat. Why is it that when it's the RSS workers at the receiving end, and we've seen multiple political killings as well in the states like Kerala, there is no outrage? Is it because a certain section has almost deemed it okay if RSS blood is shed?
Because they are Hindu.
So you think it's because RSS is Hindu and bats for Hindu ideas or rights, that's why it's okay to kill them? They're fair game?
No, I think that it is all because they are Hindus and they represent or they articulate the nationalism of India, and these are the forces which do not believe in the idea of India which RSS believes in, and they believe in pan-Islamism. Islam doesn't believe as an ideology. Islam doesn't believe in a territorial nation, and precisely this is the reason, though they have nationalities, though they have different nations and they are fighting among each other, yet the ideology of Islam has a pan-Islamism, pan-Islamic character. And sometimes I feel that the Savarkar and Ambedkar were very much right when they said that their loyalty is divided. Their loyalty is somewhere else to the ideology of Islam.
But why is it? I can understand an organization like the PFI doing it and some radical outfits supporting it or not coming out and condemning it. But why is the larger liberal world not outraged, you think, in India today?
Because that will destroy, because that destroys their secular communal binary.
Okay.
In fact, if there is a polarization of Muslim votes, then there is a polarization of secular votes. When somebody talks about the polarization of Hindu votes, then it is a communal that carries a communal intent, a communal content.
Sangit Ragi, just hold on your thought. Shahid Ali is advocate and leader of United Muslims Front also joining us. Shahid Ali, you know, a question does come to mind when such blatant threats are given by radical Islamist outfits like the PFI and their supporters in India, when petrol bombs and, you know, other crude bombs are being hurled targeting the RSS workers or leaders or anybody else for that matter. Where are the liberal Muslim voices who come out and say that, you know, don't do this in my name? Because ultimately the PFI claims to be fighting for Muslims and Islam. Where are the liberal Muslim voices? And why don't they condemn this targeted attack?
I think this question should be asked to PFI workers and PFI spokesperson.
No, I'm asking you because I believe you stand for liberal secular values.
In my considered opinion, whosoever violates law, whosoever indulge in fighting and all, violation of law in any manner is a criminal offence, and that should be condemned. Whether by RSS worker or by PFI, well, it should not be. There should not be any choice to all individuals, to all whosoever loves India.
But what we see is, Shahid, what you're saying is right. But what we see is that if in case there's an attack on a minority community in India, even one attack is made to feel like the entire minority is under threat. Here, one after another, there are, you know, radical Islamists firing bombs on RSS leaders who are clearly from the majority community. But PFI is not radical Islamist.
I have objection to say. I have objection.
One second, let me finish my question first. My question to you is, one second please.
You are saying radical Islamic.
Yes, I'll allow you to come in on that, but let me finish my question first. My question is, why is it that people who make such a huge hue and cry over one attack over any minority in India are not opening their mouths today? Is it okay to kill RSS workers? Are they not Indians? Do they not have a right to live? Or can they be bombed and attacked? Where are those voices who stand up against violence? But today they're all very conveniently quiet because on target is RSS.
As far as this question is concerned, in fact, what I objected to what you are saying, Islamist, jihadis and or what you said that Islamist terrorist and all, what you said, I'm not recollecting that word. I had objection to that. As far as your second condition is concerned, the question which you reframed thereafter, as far as that is concerned, I am absolutely with you that voices should be raised. We should not hesitate in condemning. If an RSS worker is killed illegally, or if a PFI worker is killed illegally, or anybody else is killed illegally, irrespective of the fact that the person belongs to minority or majority, they should not come in the between. Should not come in between. Allah says in Quran, अगर एक भी इंसान को गलत तरीके से मारा गया है, तो that is the murder of entire humankind.
Yes. And yet we see that in the name of Islam itself. Let me come to the question that I raised. You objected to radical Islam. I was talking about PFI as a radical Islamist organization. They claim to fight for Islam. They claim to fight for Muslims in the name of Islam. Don't you feel they are indeed radical Islamists? Why do you object to that term?
What is the radical Islam? What is radical Islam?
Throwing bombs, I guess. What else?
So you may say that the PFI is involved in illegal things. You have all right to say that like that, but you cannot say radical Islam is. What is this?
Okay, so you're saying
Islam is only one. Islam is only one, and Islam teaches humanity.
Okay, all right.
Islam never teaches the killing
Fair
of
enough.
humankind.
Islamist terror, radical Islam. He's saying, Shahid Ali is saying, don't use such terms. Sangit Ragi wants to